Good evening. It's time for the final hour of Demon Souls. That's right. We're down to the last hour of this fantastic game. You know, I was debating on how to start this video, and I settled on a hearty good evening. But the runner-up was a very Irish hello, love, because I love the way they say that. When I went to Ireland a couple times, everywhere I went, like everybody I talked to, they'd always be like, hello, love. And it was just like, it was nice. It just makes you feel good. It makes you feel like, hey, these are some nice people here. These people like you, you know? It's like you're standing around on a corner looking at a map, like, where am I going? How do I get to this place? And then just randomly somebody will stop and be like, hey there, love, are you lost? And they'll just like offer to help you. And it's just, and they don't try to mug you. They don't try to mug you or anything. They don't try to murder you. It's like amazing. It's like what New York City used to be. It's tremendous. Anyway, welcome to the final hour of Demon Souls. Part 9 of 10. And, like the previous episode, I'm narrating this well after the fact, which will make it a lot easier to talk. So it's tough to talk and play at the same time. That's for sure. So what I'm doing right here is I'm rescuing Sage Freck. Or maybe his name is Sage Freak. Not sure. But Sage Freak teaches you the best sorcery spells in the game. The best like attack magic in the game. With one exception. There is one particular spell that is the single best attack spell in the game that is taught by Yuria the Witch, who's a little bit harder to get to. But most of the game's best attack spells are taught by Sage Freak. Unfortunately, Sage Freak is pretty tough to rescue. You have to find a key in the Tower of Latria, and you have to go back through it kind of a second time. You have to go back through like half the zone. And then you free him from his cell, which is what I just did, and he appears in the Nexus, where you can talk to him, which I am doing now. And he teaches you all the same spells that the apprentice taught you earlier, plus a bunch of new ones, which is great. Now, I've never really used Fire Spray, but I've heard good things about it. Homing Soul Arrow is generally an incredibly overpowered spell in most of the Souls games. It summons a bunch of homing missiles, and if all of them hit your target at the same time, they tend to do a massive amount of damage in most of the games. Soul Ray is also very good because it passes through multiple foes. So it's like a beam that you fire it at a particular enemy, and it goes through them, and it'll hit the other enemies behind them or in front of them. So that can really do some damage as well. Let's see, I'm going to equip a few spells here. I've got a lot of spell slots, which is a nice side effect of a delightfully overpowered run. See, normally in a new game run, at this point in the game, you would maybe have half the spell slots that I have here. So you'd have to very carefully choose which spell or spells you're going to bring for the final areas. In my case, though, I can afford to be a little bit experimental and equip some different magics for this. So it looks like I'm going for the best attack spells, at least the ones that are available to me. And I'm trying to decide between whether to bring Enchant Weapon, which is pretty useful, especially with the Blue Blood sword, which is what I'm using in this run. Warding is also good. You know, you gotta keep those defensives in mind. Although, honestly, I find that defensives in this game are not as good as they are in your average game, because in this game, enemies hit so hard that whether you have defensive measures up or not, you're still gonna die pretty quickly. So, you know, best defense in this game is to not get hit. And that's about it. You know, you can put up all the shields you want, but you're still going to get killed pretty fast if you're not careful. So yeah, best defense, don't get hit, and have a good offense. Win the fights as quick as you can before you mess up. And I've got my perpetually rumbling cat here with me. You want to say hello? Yep, he's right here. You want to say hello? Here, say hello. Yeah, he basically just rumbles all the time. He's like the Royal Rumble, except he never stops rumbling. Never seen a cat that purrs as loud and consistently as this cat does. Anyway, so what's happening now? We are heading to the final area of the game, which is actually World 1. That's right, World 1 is the final area. It's just the second half of World 1 that you can't get to until you finish the other worlds. Well, it's a little more complicated than that, but yeah. Technically, the only stages we have left are 1-3 and 1-4, and we're on our way to 1-3 right now. 1-4 is the final stage, and it only unlocks once you've done everything else. 1-3 actually will unlock as soon as you finish any other world. Yeah, it's kind of weird. But hey, I like how non-linear the game is. I like that you can tackle these worlds in any real order. Big fan of stage selects in games. I have been since I was a kid and played Mega Man 3 for the first time. And I said, hey, how cool is it that you can pick your level? You don't have to just play the levels that the game tells you to. You can decide for yourself, hey, I like this level the most, so I'm going to go play this level. In the case of Demon Souls, it means you can leave the swamp for last because the swamp is terrible. Anyway, so this guy is like some kind of mini boss, and he just kind of like taunts you throughout this next level and kind of runs away, so you have to hunt him down. Now this next level is kind of interesting and definitely inspired Bloodborne, I think, to an extent. Looks like the graphics are glitching out a little bit or something here. Got some graphical issues happening on the PS3 here. But yeah, this area with all these ruins and destroyed wagons and whatnot, very Bloodborne-esque. And I feel like this is kind of a proto version of what ended up being Bloodborne later on. I mean, this game and Bloodborne were designed by basically the exact same teams. So, yeah, this is definitely a proto-Bloodborne in a lot of ways. It's also a proto-Dark Souls. The DNA, the lineage of Demon Souls kind of branched off into two directions with those two games. What's up, cat? Man, this cat is just rumbling up a storm over here. So anyway, yeah, that guy that I'm chasing, that court jester, whatever he is, he actually locks the gate, so you have to go the long way around. That's okay. You know, this game is known for its shortcuts, and once you get to the other side of the gate and open it, you can just run right in. So you don't have to repeat the whole level if you die. You can pretty much just take that shortcut right to the end. That's the beauty of Souls level design. They do such a good job with the shortcuts and so forth. So even though you die a lot, you never really have to repeat the entire level, because you're always going to unlock different shortcuts, alternate routes, things like that. Oh, whoa, whoa. Whew. How much damage that did? That did a massive amount of damage, even with all the HP that I have. I mean, I've got hella HP here, and I still took a ton of damage. Yeah, this stage is actually one of the toughest stages in the game. It's not tough in the same way some of the other stages are, though. It's not the world design doesn't work against you like the swamp does, and the enemies aren't overpowered like the Shrine of Storms. But for whatever reason, this area, I find it to just be very difficult, especially on a first run through. the enemy placement, like everything's designed to ambush you pretty much, and they also hit extremely hard in this area compared to earlier areas, because at this point you're expected to be pretty high level, you know. Now this is a very important merchant right here because he sells some of the better healing items in the game, and some of these are kind of hard to find normally. So it's important to find this guy here and buy up on healing items before you continue, because you're going to need all of them for these last 2 stages. So yeah, very key merchant right there for this part of the game. Oh, fun fact. This is also the stage, I believe. Is it the stage? Is it? I believe it is. Pretty sure, like 90% sure. This is the stage where the Demon Souls remake has a new secret area, and a lot of fuss was made about it. You have to find a key to unlock it, and it requires getting a bunch of rare drops. It was something they added for the remake that wasn't in the original, and it had basically all of Reddit buzzing for like an entire week when the game first came out, trying to figure out how to get into the secret area. It's not really an area, it's more like just a room. You know, it's like this secret kind of closet that you need a key to get into, and it gives you a very cool armor set that didn't exist in the original version of the game. But I just think it's cool that they brought the whole community together like that to try and solve the mystery of how to get into this optional room, you know. It was pretty cool to see that play out in real time. I'm not gonna lie, I was one of the people who thought that the room didn't exist. Like, I thought it was just a door to nowhere. That was some kind of glitch or oversight or whatever the case may be. I didn't think that the door had anything behind it, but other people did, and they kept investigating it until they finally figured out the mystery and figured out how to unlock it. And it was just a real it was a real modern kind of game tale, you know, the kind of thing you can tell your grandkids about. But yeah, sad to say I didn't expect it to turn out to be anything, and I was pleasantly surprised when it did. But anywho, so yeah, I'm making pretty good progress on the level here. Being delightfully overpowered is a huge help with this level for obvious reasons. Oh jeez, another one of those. See, if I were not playing a delightfully overpowered run, I would be taking this a lot more carefully. Whenever I come up to one of those fireball things that they roll down the stairs, I would kind of bait them into rolling it, and then I'd jump out of the way, like at the bottom of the stairs. I wouldn't just try to run up and roll through it, you know. That only works because it's a delightfully overpowered run. But yeah, wouldn't do that normally. So right here, after you cross this wall here, you can unlock the gate that we passed by earlier, and unlock a shortcut to the beginning of the level. You can also go straight to the boss from up here, but it's much better to unlock the shortcut before you fight the boss, just in case you lose. What's up here? More heals. Oh, that's another thing about this level. Not only does it have a merchant who sells some of the best healing items in the game, but also the enemies in this level drop a ton of healing items. And not like weak, low-level healing items. I'm talking about like solid, decent healing items. You know, like mid-range, at least, healing items. So this is also a great place to farm healing items from the enemies while you're like farming experience or whatever the case may be. So it makes it a very good place to level grind, just because you want to get those healing items. Can't have too many of them, that's for sure. So right now it looks like I'm taking a little detour before the boss. Probably gonna go unlock Yuria the Witch, who is the third and final spell merchant that you can unlock in this game. Now, the first two teach white magic and black magic, respectively. I believe Saint Urbain is the white mage. So he'll teach you like the best healing spells in the game. And Sage Freak will teach you the best attack spells in the game. Now, Yuria the Witch, she's kind of her own thing. She teaches you kind of like neutral-ish magic, kind of red magic. I don't know, it's kind of an odd way to put it, but it's things that don't fit into the other categories, like curses and things like that. However, she does have this one spell called Firestorm, which seems like it should be with Sage Freak. I'm not sure why it's not, but it is hands down the biggest attack spell in the game. It can absolutely annihilate your foes. It's actually a huge area effect spell, which is cool because this game doesn't have too many of those. But if you use it against a single enemy, especially if it's an enemy that's kind of large and has like a big hitbox, the AoE can actually rack up multiple hits on a single enemy and do a massive amount of damage. I've actually seen videos where people one-shotted some of the bosses with flame or firestorm. Is it called flame? Is it called flame strike or firestorm? I got confused for a second there. I think it's called firestorm in this one. But yeah, it will absolutely one-shot a lot of enemies, which is great. And it's only taught by Yuria the Witch, who you can only find in this level. So it's very important to get her while you're here. So yeah, right now I'm just kind of doddering around in the dungeons. There are a lot of dark dungeons in this game. I would say maybe too many. Alright, I'm not sure what just happened. The video like cut out or something when I was in the middle of a sentence and skipped, so I had to kind of cut out some of the footage. But in any case, as I was saying, dank. Dank is in like the original meaning of the word, which is like moist and drippy and just like a dark dungeon that's all moldy and mildewy and generally gross. You know, not dank in the modern definition of the word, which is like cool and hip and yo, that's dank, bro. Yeah, I mean dank in like the original kind of medieval sense of the word from back in the day. You know, a lot of words started out in the Middle Ages that are now completely misused in the modern era. For instance, the noble cuckold. Back in the Middle Ages, there was a word, cuckold, which meant a guy who essentially had been cheated on by his wife. His wife had run off with some other guy, and that man had now been cuckolded. So the cuckold was generally the victim in the situation, but he was kind of regarded as like a comedy figure. You know, the cuckold was mocked. You know, there wasn't a lot of sympathy for the guy who got cheated on for whatever reason. But now it's kind of made a comeback in the modern lexicon, if you will, as people now call each other cocks. And I'm not sure if they know what that means, or maybe they kind of do. But yeah, it's from the root word cuckold from the Middle Ages. Most notably made famous by the Canterbury Tales, which I understand some schools are now trying to ban for some reason. Go figure. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, the Canterbury Tales, very interesting collection of stories, and worth checking out if you're into medieval literature that you can barely read, because the grammar and syntax are completely different from how they are now. But anyway, yeah, a lot of words change over time. Words like dank and cuckold, they take on new meanings as time passes. And now in the modern era, you have teenagers sitting around smoking weed and saying, yo, this sticky green is dank, bro, and calling each other cucks. It's really terrific. Anyway, yeah, I'm kind of rambling right now because I had this whole big outro for this video where I said a lot of actually interesting stuff about the game, and lost the outro because the video glitched up. So I don't think I can repeat that outro. Sad thing is, it was one of the better sections of voiceover I've recorded with this game. And now it's gone. Just poof, poof. Gone to technical difficulties. But you know what? No one cares about my technical difficulties. So I'm just going to move right on from that. Point is, I'm re-recording it. Don't know what to say because I already kind of said everything I had to say. So I'm just rambling about root words and so forth. So anyway, we're back in this level. I just rescued Uria the Witch while I was going on about the cuckolds of the Canterbury Tales. And Uria the Witch teaches all the spells that the other two spell merchants don't teach. She teaches some weird curses and, of course, Firestorm, the most powerful spell in the game. It's like the Ultima of Demon Souls. So anyway, let's see. I've got the gate open, so I've got a nice shortcut. Can just run right up to the boss now. Don't have to go through the whole level again, which is great because this level is actually deceptively hard. It's much more difficult than it looks. The enemies here are much harder hitting than any of the earlier levels. They really ramp up at this point. They do drop a lot of healing items though, which I think I mentioned earlier in the video, but I'm not sure because I'm recording this a little later and I've completely lost my train of thought. Okay, so we're coming up on the boss of stage 1-3, which is the Penetrator. The Penetrator demon. He has a funny name. A lot of kids are giggling right now, but don't get me wrong, there is nothing funny about his fighting style. Very tough boss. Uh-oh. Oh, I'm taking a beating here. Yeah, this part's really frustrating because there's so many of these guys. There are so many of these guys. Rather, look at this. They're just get out of there, dude. Just like back up and fire lasers at them. What are you doing? What are you doing, me of the past? Stop getting hit. What is happening here? I'm just getting wailed on. Oh, I'm using like a Dalzim fire spell here. Yoga Flame. There we go. Alright, taking them out. For a minute they were bouncing me between them like the Night at the Roxbury guys. Just got me between them like a young lady. Just bounced me between their chests and I was just like, get me out of here. Anyway, we're coming up on the fog door. The big boss. One of the coolest bosses in the game. The Penetrator. This cutscene is actually really cool because you have this official who you've been following for the whole level. He's been like harassing you, just being a real douche. And now the boss appears, completely steals all of the official's heat. Boom. Just takes his heat, takes his quickening. Just boom. This is the quickening. All of his heat goes flying into the boss. So yeah, this is it. This is the Penetrator. One of the bad